Have you ever wondered, what is the meaning of life without God? This question is at the heart of Friedrich Nietzsche's philosophy. A revolutionary thinker of the late 19th century, Nietzsche dared to venture into the existential abyss, challenging the very fabric of societal norms and religious beliefs. Born in a small German village, Nietzsche's life was steeped in a deeply religious environment. His father was a Lutheran pastor and his upbringing was solidly within the Christian tradition. Yet, as he grew older, Nietzsche began to question the foundations of his faith, leading to his profound and controversial proclamation: "God is dead, God remains dead, and we have killed him." This statement, often misunderstood, does not celebrate the death of God. Instead, it laments the moral compass once provided by religion and warns of the nihilism that could ensue. In Nietzsche's view, the death of God was a historical event brought about by the advancement of secular thinking and scientific understanding, which eroded the need for religious explanations of the world. But Nietzsche did not stop at the death of God. He delved deeper into the implications of this seismic shift in human understanding. If God is dead, what then is the source of morality? Where do we find meaning in life? Nietzsche wrestled with these questions, challenging us to do the same. Yet Nietzsche, not a prophet of doom, he did not leave us stranded in the wilderness of a godless world. Instead, he proposed a radical re-evaluation of values, urging us to create our own meaning, our own morality, from the raw material of life itself. Nietzsche challenges us to face the void left by God's death. But what does he propose we fill it with? As Nietzsche himself puts it, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." This quote encapsulates Nietzsche's ideal, that we should find our own reasons to live, our own why, and then we can bear almost any how that life throws at us. Nietzsche embarks on his philosophical odyssey, exploring the dichotomy between Apollo and Dionysus. The polar opposites these two Greek gods represent offer a compelling contrast. Apollo, the radiant sun god, is the epitome of logic, reason, and self-discipline. As the champion of arts, he symbolizes harmony, order, and beauty. Conversely, Dionysus, the god of wine and euphoria, encapsulates instincts, emotions, and the uncontrolled facets of human nature. Being the deity of chaos, he exemplifies wildness, passion, and the irrational. In Nietzsche's perspective, these forces are not simply conflicting but rather intertwined in an energetic tension. This tension, the push and pull between the Apollonian and Dionysian, fuels culture and creativity. Nietzsche perceives this as the mainspring behind exceptional works of art, literature, and the philosopher himself once remarked, "There is always some madness in love, but there is also always some reason in madness." This quote embodies the delicate balance, the interplay between the rational and the irrational, the disciplined and the unrestrained, that births profound insight and artistic genius. In the equilibrium between Apollo and Dionysus, Nietzsche identifies the potential for remarkable art and deep insight. From the tension between Apollo and Dionysus, Nietzsche turns to the individual's journey of self-transformation. Its journey that unfolds in three stages described by Nietzsche through the metaphor of the camel, lion, and child. Let's start the camel, a symbol of strength and self-discipline. Just as the camel carries heavy loads across the desert, the individual bears the weight of societal norms and traditions. It's about accepting and internalizing the values handed down to us, but it's also about questioning them. As Nietzsche once said, the individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. Next comes the lion. The lion represents the courage to challenge the values we've been carrying. It's about saying no to old ways, rejecting the status quo, and standing up to societal norms. This is a crucial step in our journey, but it's not the final destination. That brings us to the child. Nietzsche wrote, "The child is innocence and forgetting, a new beginning, game, a self-propelled wheel, a first movement, a holy yes." The child is the creative spirit that emerges once the old values have been discarded. It's about creating new values, ones that are not from outside but instead spring from within. This is the ultimate goal of Nietzsche's journey of self-overcoming. The child represents the innocence of a fresh perspective on the world. It's about forgetting what we've been told, shedding our preconceptions, and embracing the joy of discovery. It's about saying yes to life, affirming its worth, and creating our own meaning. So what does this journey look like in practice? It's about recognizing the values we hold, questioning their validity, and having the courage to reject those that aren't serving us. It's about daring to step out of the familiar into the unknown. It's about embracing change, cultivating creativity, and becoming the authors of our own lives. For Nietzsche, the goal is not to conform to society's values, but to create our own. It's about becoming who we truly are, embracing our individuality, and living a life that is authentically. After all, as Nietzsche reminds us, we are not here to merely exist, but to live fully, passionately, and on our own terms. Nietzsche's critique of morality is perhaps his most controversial idea. He dives deep into the realm of ethical theory, giving us two distinct types of morality: master and slave morality. And no, it's not about literal masters and slaves, but rather about different attitudes towards life and values. Master morality, according to Nietzsche, is a morality of the strong-willed. It's proactive, valuing power, nobility, and independence. It's about creating one's own values, not accepting those handed down or imposed by others. Masters are the ones who affirm life, who embrace their will to power, and who create their own good and evil. On the other hand, we have slave morality, which Nietzsche views with a critical eye. This morality is reactive, born out of the weak's response to the strong. It values things like sympathy, humility, and kindness. Sounds good, right? But Nietzsche sees it as a morality that negates life, that denies the will to power, and that creates values based on resentment towards the masters. Here's a fitting quote from Nietzsche himself: "Whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process he does not become a monster." Here's where the controversy comes in. Nietzsche argues that our modern values are largely born out of slave morality. He sees our praise of humility and kindness and our aversion to power and ambition as signs of a reactive, life-denying morality. But don't get him wrong. Nietzsche isn't advocating for a return to master morality, nor is he promoting a society ruled by the strong at the expense of the weak. Rather, he's critiquing the limitations of both moralities and challenging us to overcome them. What Nietzsche wants is a reevaluation of all values. He wants us to question our assumptions about good and evil, to recognize the reactive and life-denying aspects of our morality, and to affirm life in all its complexity. So what's the takeaway here? Nietzsche urges us to move beyond good and evil towards a new morality of self-affirmation. A morality that doesn't deny our will to power, but harnesses it in a way that affirms life and embraces the full spectrum of human experience. Nietzsche warns us that the death of God risks leading to nihilism, the belief in nothing. This bleak prospect where life is devoid of purpose and meaning is a chilling thought. But Nietzsche doesn't leave us hanging in this existential void. Instead, he offers a lifeline, a way to navigate the abyss of nihilism. At the heart of Nietzsche's philosophy lies the concept of the will to power. He sees this as the fundamental driving force of life, the primal impulse that underlies all our actions and desires. It's not about domination or control over others, but rather an internal, personal power. It's about harnessing our inner strength and potential, pushing ourselves beyond our perceived limits, and striving for growth and self-overcoming. In Nietzsche's own words, that which does not kill us makes us stronger. Now, how does this help us overcome nihilism? Well, by embracing our will to power, we actively create our own meaning and purpose. We're no longer passive recipients of an imposed reality, but active creators of our own. We, the authors of our own life story. But Nietzsche doesn't stop there. He presents us with a rather radical concept, the theory of eternal recurrence. This idea suggests that we live the same life, repeating the same actions and experiences over and over again for all eternity. It's not a punishment, but rather an ultimate affirmation of life. It's an invitation to live our lives as though we would have to live them, and again, infinitely. To fully embrace this concept, we must love our life in its entirety, with all its joys and sorrows, triumphs and failures. We must say yes to life, even in its most painful and difficult moments. It's a call to live passionately and intensely, to seize every moment and live it fully, as if it were to recur eternally. Nietzsche's philosophy is a call to affirm life, to embrace our will to power, and to become what he calls the Overman. This is not about becoming superhuman, but rather about transcending our current limitations and creating ourselves anew. It's about embracing our potential and becoming the best version of ourselves, not in spite of life's challenges but because of them. This is how Nietzsche envisages overcoming nihilism, and it's a journey that each one of us can embark on. Nietzsche's vision of the highest potential of human beings is encapsulated in his concept of the Overman. This concept transcends the idea of a superior individual. It characterizes one who has triumphed over themselves, their instincts, and societal conditioning. The journey towards becoming an Overman is not a mere transition, but a metamorphosis, a process of self-overcoming fueled by discipline, courage, and a resilient will to power. The Overman is not tethered by traditional values or morals. Instead, they sculpt their own values, navigate their own path, and live in harmony with their own will. This is not a task that can be executed effortlessly. Nietzsche beautifully paints this idea with his words, "In every real man, a child is hidden that wants to play." It encompasses the Overman's profound affirmation of life, a celebration of existence with all its intricacies and contradictions. The Overman embraces the eternal recurrence, the cyclical nature of life, and finds joy in this repetition. This affirmation of life, this acceptance of the eternal recurrence, is the fuel feeding the Overman's willpower. It represents a radical acceptance of existence, a celebration of the self, and a rejection of nihilism. Nietzsche's philosophy does not offer a set of answers, but serves as a clarion call to question, to challenge, and to create. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of Nietzsche's philosophy. We've journeyed through the enigmatic mind of one of history's most profound thinkers, from the dichotomy of Apollo and Dionysus to the transformative metamorphosis, and the concepts of master and slave morality, overcoming nihilism, and the Overman. We hope this has sparked your curiosity and ignited a desire to delve deeper into the philosophical realm. Remember, Nietzsche's philosophy is not about providing clear-cut answers, but about challenging our perceptions, questioning our beliefs, and prompting us to create our own values. It is a call to embrace the dance of existence with all its complexities and contradictions, much like the Overman does. As we conclude, we leave you with one of Nietzsche's most inspiring quotes. "And those who were seen dancing were thought to be insane by those who could not hear the music. In the cacophony of life, may you always hear your own music and dance to its rhythm." If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with others who might be interested in this journey. Let's continue exploring together. Until next time, keep questioning, keep challenging, and keep creating.